Hey, hey, what's going on, family? It is Chris Mateo here, Mr. Grow Your Business, with another day, another dollar. We're talking about how to grow your business and how AI, automations, marketing, sales, all these things can help grow your business. I got an amazing co host with me today who's going to be helping me talk about what's happening, what's trending right now. His name is Keith Reynolds. He's a partner, a mentor, a client, so many different things, a guidance and in life and in so many different ways. So I'm super excited. Keith Reynolds, welcome to the GYB Trending Topics. How you doing today, bud?
Chris, it's good to be here. And we've done so much together over the last couple of years. You've been on my show, so it's just a great pleasure to be on yours.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm super excited. We've been playing around with the Publio Studio product and getting in here on the Restream and leveraging content and been building and working together for the last few months. I'm just super excited for this new evolution of what we're building together and what we're doing. And I think our own shows are a product of our service and what we do. And I'm just super excited that we're constantly optimizing, constantly making it better. I told you my goal is, I want to be with the Disneys. I want to compete with the CNNs, with the Foxes, with all these guys. And I think that we're well on our way to do it. How you feeling about this entire Publio Studio, GYB Studio collaboration we're doing right now?
This has been a promise for a long time to be able to have everybody online. I mean, you think about Marshall McLuhan, where the medium is the message, and Andy Warhol, where everybody gets their 15 minutes of fame. Um, so here we are in a world now where we've been playing with it, but now we've got broadcast quality going out over YouTube and LinkedIn, and it's not only live streaming, but we're recording it, and then with AI, we turn it into content. It's just really been an amazing last 6-8 months as we've been playing with it. We kind of came to it having been working with these tools, and now we're co-creating this together. So it's really cool, and it's the kind of thing that anybody can do from their office, from their home, from the beach, and we look forward to sharing how we do it.
I'm super excited about all this stuff because I think what we're proving, what we're showing, I've been doing the production business for the last 13 years. I started out in music and videos and content production, all this type of stuff. And what me and you've been able to do in the last 6 months has even changed my mindset on what's possible from
Mm,
being remote. Us doing productions while I'm in Europe and you're in Colorado, and the content producing team, production team is in New York. Like, this is
yep.
literally a global situation where we're creating amazing products and content for clients, and it's based off of this Publio Studio model where they're coming in, we're talking to them, we have a script, we have a layout, we have a actual plan, the same way we would do it if we were going in person to shoot a movie or shoot some
Right.
type of conference or anything. We have that run of show, and then we're doing all of that from virtually. Like, you're interviewing the clients, they're sitting down in person with the content team. I'm giving content direction and angles and lighting and different things for the content team. Can you talk a little bit about that experience for you? Because I know I was super excited. I've done production shoots like that, being on the production team side and shooting the content, but this was one of the first times of me doing it completely remote, 100,000 miles away,
Yeah.
and still having the client be happy, be excited, and wanting to work with us. This is something that I think is just the beginning of the iceberg as far as what's coming in the next 10 years in this space.
Well, it's really cool. When you and I met, we met up at your studio, and then the first project we did together was a um, an event at a co-working space, and we were talking about the new content culture, and we hired you to come down and do some video of us at the event of me talking. I was sitting on the stage, and all that you talk about in terms of run of show, right? The experience that you design for people, we did for a physical room, and it was probably no more than 45 days later we were all locked down on COVID. And
Yep.
so think about it. Everybody out there watching us is um, able to be part of our show now, no matter where you are in the And what I've learned is, we had probably 15 or 20 people uh, at that event, right? We served snacks and we had some beer and wine afterwards, and it was really great to get people together. And I still think there's value in that. But now we've been able to tap into experts from all over the world, um, literally working from wherever they are. So it expands what we're able to do, the people we're able to reach, the expertise we're able to pull in on any given project. And so while I don't discount anything that you do in the physical world, everything that we've done, whether it was my work in the technology industry or in the media industry, it's all coming together now. It's really exciting.
We're excited. So that covers like our background and what we've been doing and what we're continue to keep doing over the next years together. I've already known you for I think more than 4 or 5 years at this point, and I'm excited to see what the next decades lead for us. So thank you for working with me. Thank you for being here today. And with that being said, let's get into the trending topics. I got a bunch of cool topics I want to talk to you about and get your insight and feedback on. I got my own opinions on it, but this is the stuff that's been going on lately that I'm seeing, manifesting in the different technology silos I'm in, the AI silos, the marketing silos. I kind of want to touch base on a little bit of everything here. So without further ado, let's pull up the first trending topic that we're going to be covering. And
let's do it.
Shout outs to my amazing virtual producer in a whole different part of the world as well, holding us down and helping us here. Jan, thank you so much for your help, Jan. If you can zoom in, Jan, on just the first topic and remove the sidebar there so we can just see that main first topic. And then zoom in a little bit so I can see. I'm a little bit old. So
I'm a lot of bit old.
So the first topic we're going to cover today is this Chinese AI company called DeepSeek. And I think me and you talked about it before, Keith, about DeepSeek. We talked about how they've been revolutionizing the AI space because they're making the cost so cheap. OpenAI and all these guys are, putting billions of dollars into their AI models for ChatGPT, and these guys are doing it for a couple of $1 million. So that's the first big shift that happened in the last month in AI. But just recently, yesterday, a Chinese car company called BYD, which is the competitor to Tesla in China, they actually partnered with DeepSeek and are now releasing their very own cheap full self-driving vehicle starting at only $7,750, Keith. Tell me what you think about this topic right here when you're talking about American companies, innovative tech companies competing now with China's efficiency and effectiveness. How is Elon Musk and ChatGPT going to compete with DeepSeek and BYD when they're literally doing this stuff at pennies on the dollar compared to the American companies? Obviously, we know workforce laws and all these other things are included in that. But what do you think about this story and what's going on right now in this space?
Well, I think it follows the general trend. I think what caught everybody off guard was it happened so quickly and it just came out of nowhere. But um, from the beginning of media and technology, everything's been built around going faster, getting smaller, increasing the quality, and lowering the price. And so I think America will adjust. I think Europe will adjust. I think the Chinese have done some really amazing work, and at the same time, there's questions about how they train their models, and how do we protect intellectual property around all of this innovation as well. So it's the gauntlet has been thrown down, and from what I've been seeing, there's a reevaluation about the we'll get into data centers later, but just a whole the table's been reset, if you will, and it's now up to the marketplace to react.
Yeah, I think this is what I think, and I think it's the same thing that happened with the music record labels that we talked about in the past. It's the same thing that's happened with so much digitization of products and services that have come about in the last years. The internet has given us a democratized platform, a decentralized platform that allows us to take the middlemen out of the equation. So, for example, the record labels were the middlemen inside of the equation that were full of bloat, big giant buildings. They had to press the CDs and the tapes to put them out, then go distribute them at Walmart and the music centers and all that type of stuff. And there was an entire, 2 or 3 industries living and winning off of the music that the artist was making and that the client wanted. Essentially, there's an right. artist with music, and there's a listener out there that wants to listen to that music. And what the internet did with Spotify, with YouTube, with Apple, iTunes, and all this type of stuff, it cut the middleman out of the equation and made it a more direct to consumer process. And I think that this is what's happening with the AI space in general, and the BYD and DeepSeek partnership is just a highlight of the cost of the middleman is going down significantly because these companies are working directly. They're the manufacturers. So unlike Tesla or ChatGPT, OpenAI, Tesla more so than ChatGPT, but for example, Tesla and Elon, they look at everything from the full stack. What does it take from the front end, what the consumer sees, all the way to the back end of manufacturing raw products and goods that they need to even make these things possible? So the Chinese companies are looking at the full stack of the development and looking at this from an engineering standpoint, and they're cutting out all those middlemen and reducing the price to train the models, reducing the price to get these type of AI systems inside of all these cars starting at less than $8,000. Like, just think about that. That means you can buy a full self-driving vehicle in China for less than $8,000. You're talking about less than what, $200 a month, less than a cell phone?
You're probably at $7,000. You're under $100 a month. And when you talk about democratizing, another thing that happens is it makes it more accessible to more people. And I think that's really an important part of the innovation, because as this becomes available and people teach themselves, and the pace of what these technologies are used for and applied to are infinite, So and we're just at the beginning of this. That's what's so exciting.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this. So I think that's pretty much all I got to say about that thing. I think there's going to be a lot of big stories coming out this year about these competitions between all the countries, but even more so between the companies themselves, and what strategy or tactic is going to be the winner when it comes to this. And I think there's going to be winners in different fields. Hey, maybe DeepSeek wins in the chat bot, but Tesla wins in the full self-driving. All of these things are still unknown, and we're still going to find out, but we're definitely going to be talking about these all the time as we do this more often. So without further ado, let's go into the second topic. Jan, what do we got? If we can pull up the second topic. Here we go. The second topic is Gary Vee talks about commerce-tainment on new social media platforms, leading the way in live streaming sales. So this is a platform that I went on today, Keith. It was my first time ever trying this. It's called Whatnot. And basically, it's the same thing as like TikTok Shop or Instagram Shop, where basically you can go live and you can actually do giveaways. People can comment and do everything that they do on a regular live stream, but this is focused way more on commerce, and you kind of doing live auction bidding. So it's like a mix of eBay meets live stream.
And Etsy.
Yep, and Etsy, that type of stuff. Yep. So I think this stuff is really changing the game. I'm super fascinated with it. I wanted to get your thoughts on what you think this means for the new landscape of e-commerce, of live streaming and content, something that we do and are very familiar in. I think this is basically aligning with our goals and our vision. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, if you think about it, we were geeking around with this 2-3 years ago and starting our first podcast, and, playing around. Well, we had to figure out how the pieces work together. And when you get a platform like this come to the market, it makes it more, again, access, because it's easier. It's moving along that technology adoption curve. So more in the middle of the bell-shaped curve in terms of the general population can use a technology like this. But if I've got a pizza company and I have an order page, and I can be talking directly and selling my pizzas because I've got the best artistic pizza. By the way, I ordered a heart-shaped pizza for tomorrow night for Valentine's Day. Why not sell that online and with video, right? So I think that's really the future is
What
whatever.
do you mean by selling? Explain that. How do I sell that online?
Well, I mean, you can order a pizza online, right? You can either go to Domino's or your local pizza parlor, and there are platforms to take the order. Why not have the streaming with the maitre
He's
d'?
live. He's making the pizza live right there. He's saying, "Yeah, you want this special heart pizza? Boom!" And then, oh, that's good. I love
See, and
that.
or the maitre d', but welcoming you. A lot of these videos can also be pre-recorded
Yep.
to do that streaming. You don't have to be live. You can pre-record a half-hour show and have it play on loop.
Yep.
So during the dinner hour, you're greeted. And I just made that up off the top of my head. I don't know whether video pizza sales are going to be a big hit, but there's some pizza video entrepreneur out there who's going to give it a shot. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a game changer. I already seen in China a lot of the big platforms like WeChat and those type of platforms. They are huge on this commerce-tainment, where basically these people with millions and millions of followers, and it's just someone running their shop. They're just like they sell local widgets, they sell home products, decor, clothes, all these things, and you see literally factories. I'm talking about like a literal 100,000 square foot facility with 50, 60, 100 plus full-time influencer salespeople that are just live streaming and showing. And this is what the jacket, you can buy it right now. Click the button and buy the jacket. But this is my sweater. This is the pant. And they're just literally, showing the people what to do, how to do this, how to take the opportunity. And this is what I think the commerce-tainment is going to be a whole new thing. I think the last decade has been about edutainment, education, and entertainment. And I think we've learned so much with the democratization of education and knowledge. I think this next leap in innovation on the internet is going to be commerce as a democracy, meaning anyone could be a business owner, anyone could be an entrepreneur. With AI, with social media platforms and all these things helping you, you have such a huge leap up that it's a higher percentage chance that you're going to be successful than someone who started a business even 10 years ago. So,
And one thing that's really important is that your audience, to scale to the size of your business, might stay small, right? And so I mean, I come out of the B2B world, so I work on companies where the economics are very large sales, so it doesn't take many transactions to make it pay off. But even so you're going to have to scale the audience to the right size. Using the pizza joint as just a fun example. I mean, how many pizzas do you need to sell a night? So if you need to sell 100 pizzas, maybe your audience is only 1,000 people, right? So it's not like you're going Fox, or CBS, NBC level kind of audience to make this work.
No, and also I believe that there's going to be a very big link between the transparency of that constant live streaming, showing how the sausage is made, how the business runs, and all that type of stuff, and like blockchain technology, where you're actually able to. I want that pizza that he's making right now at 1 o'clock on the live stream. That's the pizza I want. So like now you're making that an NFT. Now that one specific heart-shaped pizza, because he talked about it and did this on the live stream, that one's worth 10x what the next pizza that's about to be made by the next guy. You see what I'm saying?
Like Nike, like a pair of Nike gym shoes, right? That you place an intrinsic value on it that has to do with the experience as much as it is the product itself.
Yep. So I think that's going to be a game changer. I'm super excited about this whole concept. Shout outs to one of my OG mentors, Gary V, who's always been in the game and does this at the highest level. And I've learned so much from him over the years. I know this is going to be one of those things that he's way ahead of right now, and probably 5-10 years before everybody else catches up. So
gotta buy some wine. Buy some wine from Gary V and see him streaming out of the wine cellar.
Yep. I actually met him at the wine library, his original shop with his dad. I actually got to meet him there, and I went there about 5, 6 years ago, and it was an amazing experience to see the actual spot where he started out. So it was very, very cool.
That's so
So
cool. Yeah, he's one of the guys I've been following for years. And to start ideating about it and wanting to explore more and learn about how to do this.
that's what it's all about. So let's do a rapid fire round real quick because we got to finish out real quick. I got another call starting up. So why don't we pull up the next topic and kind of let's do a fire round and kind of go through these next couple ones. So one of the ones I wanted to talk about here was Mark Benioff, the CEO of Salesforce. He says he's not hiring developers this year for 2025, Keith. And he says the reason he's not hiring developers is because his head of engineering called him at the end of 2024 and said, listen, we have 74 or 75,000 developers on staff right now. Our productivity is up 30% from 2023. And I don't think we should waste more time trying to hire new talent. I think we should keep the talent we have and double down to get these efficiencies and effective scores up even more. Because I
That's
think we can push
fascinating.
it. What do you think about this?
Well, that's fascinating. I mean, I look at my own life, how we've been able to get massive productivity by using video and turning that into content and coming up with distribution plans and marketing plans around that. I mean, the speed and scale that we're able to operate today in another soft side of the industry, and that's marketing, communications, sales. Those um, efficiencies, applied to engineering. I mean, that's just fascinating that he would take that what might be perceived as a risk to um, not hire anybody for a year and build on the efficiencies of the previous year. 30%. That's amazing. I hadn't heard that statistic.
Yeah, that was the part that really shocked me when I heard 30%. I was like, that's insane. Like when you talk about business effectiveness and productivity and operations, cost, all these different type of things, especially at the scale of what's a sales force, like you're talking about insane results here. So I was shocked and love that concept as far as like being more effective. But then there was a side of me that was a little bit like, okay, this is scary. Like new jobs, new graduates, new people. That means they're not getting hired, all this type of stuff. So what do you feel like it means from that side of it? And then that to correlate with the second half of the story, which is he also has a mission and a goal to launch 1 billion agents across the globe. Like, and that's helping businesses, helping clients, customers from all different levels. He has some of the biggest companies on his Salesforce platform, from JP Morgan to Disney to so many more, right? So what do you think this means from a hiring standpoint? Like, are developing jobs dead? Are any jobs that the agent's gonna do dead? What do you think it means from him launching all these agents to the marketplace?
He's not doing this in a vacuum, right? There's somebody else that didn't get hired that's going to do a startup. There's some other startup that's going to be getting those same efficiencies, and they're going to need to hire people. So, I mean, the rapid efficiency and cost effectiveness of what he applied within his organization is going to play out in other ways and may even become his competition.
I like that. I like that. That's actually our goal, right? So we taking those same productivity gains and putting them into our process and our systems, and we've seen, I would say, even more than 30-40% productivity gains in the last year as well. So I definitely see what he's talking about, and I think there's a lot of opportunity there. To segment into something that I think is important is that 1 billion agents, right? And how he wants to launch that into the marketplace. Well, there seems to be a very big bottleneck in this process, which seems to be energy. And that's another topic we were going to talk about today. But the energy bottleneck that's happening right now, how do you think these companies like OpenAI, like Salesforce, are going to be able to break through and actually, get enough energy to build out these large models?
Well, it's everything. It affects everything. I was talking to somebody the other day. Rental car agencies. There was a study done that to go electric, and a rental car company is going to require an increase of 5x the amount of electricity that a current enterprise airport location uses. So the demand is great, and I don't think that the public infrastructure is the only way to generate electricity anymore. So in my work with a company called Accelerate, we talked about a little bit earlier, we're not only installing EV chargers um, in commercial buildings and large residential buildings and looking for those kinds of customers, but we're also bridging that into what's called a microgrid. And that's where a building or a company or a complex, a real estate complex, can install solar, can put in batteries, can add EV chargers. And so the solar and the batteries help you save money on the electricity and lower your energy footprint, which is a huge part of the P&L of these businesses, but also to add the EV charging and charge for it, and now you have a revenue stream. So it's cost savings and energy creates revenue opportunities. So companies are going to be looking at their business models and seeing how energy plays into that. And so they may find out that to do what they want to do, the public utility can't supply enough electricity, doesn't have it, the cabling run, doesn't have it in their strategic plan. Well, there's other ways to generate electricity. Working not only with Accelerate, but another company called DG Matrix that has what's called a power router, which is a bi-directional router, which can basically redirect energy from solar to the battery or to your EV charger to take a portion, if not all, of the electricity that you would have once gotten from a utility and have your own microgrid to make this energy growth that's projected here in the next 5 years happen.
And I think that it's super important because what you're talking about here is basically democratizing energy at this point, because now anyone who's a landowner can essentially put their own solar panels up and generate energy, and then put an EV charging port on their property, and then now they can give energy like a gas station. So they've they're digging the oil and they're selling the gas at the same time. Like, this is such a revolutionary concept that I don't think most people understand. And when you broke it down for me, I have to admit, it took me a couple months to even grasp the complexity of what you're doing with Accelerate and with your other partners, because I think this is the new bottleneck. You're seeing these billion-dollar companies investing hundreds of billions of dollars into these data centers, into these battery energy, nuclear energy, different type of energy stuff, so that they can be able to power, because they're saying to get to the AI that we have today, like the ChatGPT stuff and all this stuff, they're already saying it's taking up so much of our current energy for our houses and businesses and all that type of stuff, that in order to keep up at this pace, they're going to need to double or triple what we're currently producing on a daily level today. Where is all that energy going to come from? It's going to come from places like this, where you're going to be able to plug in, and you're, like you said, if I have my solar panels on my house, on my property, and that's been generating energy all day, and I've already used enough energy to feed my family, get my car running, get my house running, I can actually now profit off of the excess energy and sell it on the grid, sell it to the government so they can keep selling it forward, or sell it to people who want to come on my property to charge their vehicles or do whatever like that. So I think
That's exactly right. So it's an exciting time. It's a time of disruption that can be very scary for people. You look at, it can be very disruptive, but these changes are going to happen very rapidly. I think that, even though policies are changing, some of the grants that have been announced previously are not going to be available, but I think the economics are so compelling that this in the long run is just a blip. And in 5 years, companies like Accelerate America and DG Matrix, Atom Power, they're going to be huge in the coming years. Just lots of change coming down the pike.
Platform here. Let's talk about charging as a service, because I think that part is going to be the monetization aspect of it, right? Because you can just, there's a difference. Like, if, let's just say, for example, I struck gold, right? And I dropped the gold. Excuse me, I struck oil, right? I struck oil on my property. I can extract that oil, but then I have to find some big corporate company to buy the oil and then turn it into gas, and then they can sell it in a gas station. But in this, all of that is happening right on your property because it's the solar panels gathering the energy, and then it's immediately turning it into consumable energy that somebody could buy.
Yeah.
So it's like, talk about that concept just for a second there of like, what does a world where like zero energy costs essentially, and we're almost all producing excess energy, what does that mean?
Well, I think there's going to be, a hybrid experience, and it really is going to depend on where you live, what the demand and supply uh, equation is, and that will help determine then how people set that up. But you may be that 60%, 50% of your energy comes off the grid. You generate a portion of that by solar. You also have battery banks. One thing I've found very interesting is there's laws against buying electricity off the grid during a low peak pricing period and then putting it in your battery and then reselling it off your battery onto the grid when it's a higher price. So there's a lot of things to be worked out, but that's the kind of thing that is coming down the pike, and every property owner, investor, the management team that runs the properties is going to be looking at how do I optimize the energy usage that I have. And when I do that, so I'm sitting here in the Denver Athletic Club doing this podcast right now. They have a big roof. They are also paying a lot of money for the electricity they use. Why couldn't they do something like that right in downtown Denver? And when they do, and they look at the finances, any company, not the Denver Athletic Club, but any company that's looking at how to do this has potential cost savings. So cash flow is increased because they're saving money, and the opportunities like Accelerate America to be able to sell electricity to EV drivers. So when they come to work out, they can top off their car for 2 or 3 hours, and pay. At my local King Supers, it's they have a 3-tiered pricing. So if I charge between midnight and 8 a.m., it's 30 cents a kilowatt hour. If I charge between 6 p.m. and midnight, it's, I think, 51 cents. And if I charge during peak use, I'm sorry, that's during the day, it's 51 cents. And then peak usage between 6 p.m. and midnight, it's 60 cents a kilowatt hour, right? So all of those kinds of things that accrue to a property go into a financial model that you can actually borrow money against or securitize, and generate cash today for your investment that's going to last 30 years. So it's fascinating what this is going to do to help free up cash as well as free up electricity and power.
I'm loving it. I think this is going to revolutionize the game. I'm super excited about all the things happening and what we got coming in the future. That's going to be all we got for today's trending topics. I appreciate my guest, Keith Reynolds, coming into the building and helping us put all this together and give us his insight on what he sees happening. And hopefully we do a lot more of these and we touch base on a lot more things. So I appreciate everybody. If you guys are interested in working with us, please tap in. You can go and meet up with Keith. What's your website, Keith?
It's Publio, PUBLI.io, and give us a ring there, or you can find me on LinkedIn, and as well as Publio are both on LinkedIn, and we'd love to talk to you.
Yep. So tap in with Keith if you're looking for more insight on marketing and different things like that. And then tap in with me at MrGYB.com, www.MrGYB.com. And there you'll be able to tap in with our entire infrastructure on how to automate and grow your business. Thank you so much. You guys have a great day.